Hey there, fellow travelers, it's Leo coming to you from Zhukovka, a small village with 100 inhabitants, more or less, somewhere in the Republic of Mordovia, more specifically in the middle of nowhere. So I don't know why I am here. I just like the abandoned atmosphere of this village, and so I decided to make a stop here and go around because I like to investigate. Usually I get used to see a lot of babushkas on remote Russian villages like this, but here is very scary. Nobody's here, nobody. So, just a dog. Guys, in the meanwhile, I find this cemetery here in the middle of the forest. It starts to snow a little bit, so very scary atmosphere. And you know, a cemetery in a forest, I have never seen something like that before. It's a very scary place, to be honest, and it's so quiet and everywhere old crosses. I don't want to speak loud because of course you know why. On the other side, I feel like in a scary fairy tale, and I think it's time to leave this cemetery. But you know, if here is a cemetery, it means that there must be people living here. But now it's time to go. I don't want to stay longer in this place. Let's go. So here is very dead silence and pretty depressing atmosphere here. It seems like a ghost town, like an abandoned Russian village. Everything looks so shabby, poor and depressed. I think this is the most depressing place I have ever been, and it seems like people live very minimalist here. For years I have conversations with Russian people, and some of them told me that they have a very low income, like 15,000 rubles, or even lesser. And this is insane if I compare the cost of living in Russia with the cost of living in Germany, where I live. I mean, the cost of living between Russia and Germany is pretty much the same, with the difference that in Germany people have a much higher average income. That's insane. At the turn of this year here in Russia, there was an increase in VAT from 18% to 20%, which ensures that everything is more expensive and people have less money in their pocket. Furthermore, the retirement age is increased in the next 10 years for a total of 5 years. So that's then 65 years. And you have to know that the man's here in Russia is currently on an average 65, 66, 67 years old, so not so much time to enjoy their pension. I guess for how long must people struggle on 15,000 rubles, which is about $500? I think the Russian people are very patient people. After the USSR, people expected things would be better, but after 30 years, I guess what exactly is better here? I'm surprised that there has not been a revolution yet. By the way, this is my second approach to Mordovia. Last year I have been to Saransk, which is the most important and biggest city here in Mordovia. I really enjoyed my stay in Saransk, and I have some nice memories of my visit because of all the nice and friendly people I have met there. I was in a serious trouble in Saransk because I went to the Mordovia Arena, which is one of the stadium that hosts the World Cup games, and I went there watching match between Colombia and Japan. And after that match, as I walked back to the bus station, getting back home to the apartment I was staying at, I realized that I forgot my note, which I had written some important information. The address of my apartment as well as the phone number of my host. I had also written the bus connection on the note, which bus I should take to get to the stadium and which bus will take me back to the starting point. Well, I couldn't speak Russian at all, neither could I understand Russian, nor could I read the Cyrillic alphabet. So what to do in such a situation? The only hope I had was to find someone who understands English. And guys, in Saransk it's very difficult to find someone who speaks or understands English. So I was looking for someone who could speak English, and then finally, after about 1 hour asking people around if they can speak English, I finally found someone, a young Christian girl. Her name is Diana, and she's a zealous member of the Pentecostal church, and she was very kind to help me out getting back home to my hosts. In the meanwhile, I need an umbrella because of the snow and the rain. I was so surprised to face such awesome people there in Saransk. I didn't expect that Russian can seem very cold-hearted because they don't smile like I do, but when you get to know them, you realize that they are amazingly kind and very hospitable. know, guys, Russia is not only Moscow and St. Petersburg. Russia has a lot of great places to check out. Getting out and exploring Russia is really nice and definitely a great thing to do, but don't underestimate this huge country, because Russia is insanely huge. And if you wanna travel Russia by train, for example taking the Trans-Siberian Railroad, well, it will take you days and weeks, maybe months to go through it all. So you really need to realize the size of this country is enormous. Time is coming to say goodbye, guys. So it was a very interesting day here in Zhukovka. This is what I call real Russia, the real Russian life far away from the big cities. It's time to go back to Shask, because it's time for banya. Banya, you know, the Russian sauna. If you like my stuff, don't hesitate and feel free to follow me on Instagram and Facebook as well. So comment, like and subscribe, or unsubscribe if you hate that you can't enjoy Russian banya like I'm going to. See you.